Imagine, just for a moment, the very first light of morning slipping through your window, brushing across the quiet room where you sit. Its early city or countryside is still asleep. In that peaceful hush, you become aware of your body. The way your ankles feel when you swing your feet to the floor, the quiet ache in your knees as you stand, the gentle reminder of every year you have lived, woven into your bones and muscles. Maybe you pause just a second longer than you used to before taking that first step. Does this sound familiar? You are not alone. In fact, if we could gather every person who has ever felt stiff, swollen, or uncertain in their body, we would. Fill every city, every street, every home. It's a universal story, yet so often. We each feel it in isolation, each of us quietly carrying the weight of our years, our injuries, our hopes that today, maybe, we will move with a little less pain. But what if I told you that this story doesn't have to end with resignation or quiet suffering? What if there is a gentle revolution happening all around us? One that doesn't require expensive medicines or impossible routines, but starts with something as simple, as joyful, as the food on your plate and the way you greet the day. Let me take you back in time, just a generation or two. Picture a grandmother in a small village, rising before dawn to tend her garden. She moves slowly, but her eyes are bright. She walks among rows of vegetables, berries, and fruits: kiwi, papaya, guava. Blackberries picking, tasting, humming a song she learned from her mother. Her secret is not hidden in a pill bottle, but in the way she lives, the way she eats, the way she finds beauty in each new day. Perhaps she's known hardshipliness, loss, years of hard work. Yet she stands upright, smiles easily, and shares her wisdom with anyone who will listen. Or imagine a group of elders gathering at a community park. A blend of laughter, gentle stretches, and bowls of colorful fruit passed from hand to hand. No one here is talking about getting old as a curse. Instead, they share stories of injuries overcome, gardens tended, grandchildren chased in play, dreams still alive and waiting. In their company, age isn't an enemy, but a tapestry. Strong, bright, woven with care. Maybe you feel far from that place. Maybe you wake up and your first thought is not gratitude, but concern. Will my knees hold out today? Will I be able to walk the market, to join my friends, to play with my children or grandchildren? Perhaps the advice you've been given is simply, that's life. Take these pills, learn to live with it. But deep down, another voice whispers. It asks, is there more I can do? Is there a way to regain my strength, my confidence, my freedom? Can I reclaim the joy of movement not as a memory, but as a daily reality? Today, I invite you on a journey not just through science and nutrition, but through hope, tradition, and self-discovery. We will explore the world of collagen, that magical, often overlooked glue that holds us together from the inside out. We will meet the heroes of the fruit kingdom: kiwi, pineapple, papaya, guava, blackberries, blueberries, strawberries, and amleach, carrying a unique story, a powerful benefit, a way to support and restore the foundation of our bodies. But this is not just a list of foods. This is an invitation to see yourself and your health in a new way. To remember that your body, no matter its age or struggles, is not broken, but adaptable, wise, and deserving of care. To believe, even for a moment, that the way forward can be joyful, delicious, and shared. You might wonder, can simple changes make a difference? Can the right fruits, the right rituals, truly transform how I feel? Science says yes, but so do countless stories from people just like you. You'll hear about mothers, fathers, teachers, athletes, gardeners, some young, some old, who found their lives changed by what they put on their plates and the habits they made their own. Some stories will make you smile, some may bring a tear, but all are reminders that the human spirit is resilient, creative, and hungry for connection. Throughout this journey, You'll discover not just what to eat, but how to move, how to rest, how to nurture your mindset and your heart. You'll learn small, actionable steps to need choices that add up to real, lasting transformation. We will weave together tradition and science, personal reflection and practical guidance, until the way forward is as clear as morning sunlight. Before we begin, pause and check in with yourself. Place your hand on your knee, your hip, your heart. Thank your body for all it has carried you through every step, every stumble, every dance, and every quiet moment of rest. No matter where you start, no matter what challenges you face, this is your story. You are the hero here. And every hero deserves a new chapter, so come with me. Let's open the door to possibility. Let's explore not only what helps the body heal, but what helps the spirit soar. Whether you're 25 or 85, whether you're struggling with pain or simply longing for more energy, more movement, more joy, you belong in this circle. In the next hour, you will hear stories, science, recipes, and encouragement. You will see yourself reflected in the struggles and triumphs of others. And by the end, you will hold in your hands a map not to perfection, but to progress, to hope, to freedom. This is not just another health video. This is a celebration of life, a tribute to the wisdom within us all, and a promise. Change is possible, and it can start today, right here, right now, with you. Are you ready? Then, let's begin. The truth about aging, swelling, and collagen. Picture a quiet morning in a small Vietnamese village. The rooster has just crowed, and sunlight slips gently through wooden shutters. An elderly man named Elek sits on the edge of his bed, staring at his swollen feet, dreading the first step. Each day begins like this, wondering if today will be better, or if his knees will betray him again with that familiar, burning ache. How many of us have watched a parent or grandparent hesitate before rising? Or perhaps it's become part of our own daily ritual. In that hush, before the world awakens, we come face to face with a truth so many accept without question. That aging means pain, swelling, loss of movement. But is that truly destiny? Or have we accepted a myth passed down from generation to generation? I used to believe the same thing. I watched my grandmother, who used to be the strongest woman I knew. Always the first to sweep the yard, cook for our big family, and lead the laughter during slowly become smaller and more withdrawn in her own house. Her swollen knees and stiff hands kept her in her chair, turning her into a silent observer of life instead of an active participant. "It's just old age," she would say with a sad smile. "Getting old is like this, my child." That as I began to study health and aging, traveling from bustling cities to tranquil villages, I found a different story. In Okinawa, I met elders dancing at festivals, their steps light and their laughter young. In Italy's countryside, nonas knelt for hours in tomato gardens. What did they know that we had forgotten? Science has only recently caught up with what some cultures have practiced for generations. The secret is collagen. Not the latest superfood supplement or magic cream, but the very glue that holds our bodies together, found in our skin, bones, joints, and tendons. Let's imagine collagen as the steel cables holding up a suspension bridge. Over time, these cables slowly freeze-amize almost imperceptibly. After the age of 30, our bodies produce less collagen each year. By the time we reach 65, our bridge is worn thin. Joints creak, skin sags, movement becomes effortful. But here's the part nobody tells you. This fraying can be slowed, sometimes even reversed, if we listen to our body's quiet requests for help. Take Mrs. B&H, a retired schoolteacher. For years, she accepted swelling and morning stiffness as her fate, until her doTERRA physical therapists suggested they look at her diet, not just her medications. Within weeks of adding specific fruits and gentle walks to her morning routine, The difference was so obvious that even her skeptical husband joined in. This isn't a story of overnight miracles. It's about the small, daily choices that add up to transformation. Yes, collagen loss is part of life, but it is not a life sentence. Our bodies want to repair, to renew, to rise each morning with strength and hope. We only have to give them the right support as we journey together through the next segments. Remember this: swelling and pain are not a punishment for aging, but a message. Listen closely, not just to your doctor, but to the wisdom in your own bones and the lessons passed down quietly in kitchens and gardens around the world. Kiwi and pineapple, nature's vitamin C bombs. Close your eyes and picture this: a table set for breakfast in Wellington, New Zealand. The air is crisp. A grandmother named Ruth stands, her white hair catching the sunlight, and she slices a kiwi in half, passing one bright green piece to her granddaughter, Lucy. This is their ritual shared stories over fruit, a habit passed from mother to daughter for generations. This little fruit kept me walking these hills, Ruth winks, popping a slice in her mouth. The power of Kiev, small fruit, giant impact. Kiwi might look modest, fuzzy, and easily overlooked, but inside, it's a treasure chest of nutrients. For decades, doctors in New Zealand recommended kiwi to sailors to prevent scurvy, not knowing that the vitamin C inside would one day be recognized as a cornerstone for joint health and collagen production. Vitamin C isn't just an immune booster, it's the spark that ignites the body's engine for building new collagen. And kiwi, with over 70 milligrams of vitamin C per fruit, supplies more than enough. But its real genius lies in its enzyme, actinidin, which unlocks proteins in your diet and makes every bite count. I remember interviewing a sprinter in her late 50s who suffered from joint pain so severe that every run ended in tears. After she began her kiwi mornings, her pain eased, her recovery sped up. And she even started coaching her grandchildren's running team. Kiwi put the spring back in my step, she joked. But what's the best way to enjoy it? Eat kiwi with the skins, really? The skin holds extra fiber and antioxidants. If you can't stomach the texture, blend it into smoothies or mash into oatmeal with a sprinkle of seeds. Each bite isn't just delicious, it's an act of self-repair. Pineapple, sweet, juicy, and healing. Travel now to a sun-drenched Filipino island where a group of retired fishermen gathers under a bamboo hut. Pineapple slices are shared, laughter flows, and someone slaps their knee in the middle of a joke of not in pain, but with ease. Here, pineapple isn't just a fruit, it's a prescription. Ask any local doctor and you'll hear stories of elders who traded painkillers for fresh pineapple and found relief as sweet as the fruit itself. Pineapple's secret weapon is bromelain, a natural anti-inflammatory enzyme that reduces swelling as effectively as some medicines without the side effects. Bromelain works quietly to break down proteins and mop up inflammation, clearing a path for healing. Pineapple also packs vitamin C and manganese, a team of nutrients that sparks collagen creation and keeps joints gliding smoothly. I recall meeting a former rugby player in his 70s who spent decades wincing every time he stood up. After he made pineapple a daily snack always fresh, Never Kanehe noticed his joints swelling less, his movements less labored. "It's like someone oiled my hinges," he said, eyes bright. The lesson here is as much about tradition as it is about science. In many cultures, eating pineapple is as natural as breathing. It's in soups, salads, desserts. What matters most is freshness. Avoid syrup-soaked, canned pineapple, which has lost its healing power. Pairing kiwi and pineapple isn't just about nutrients, it's about joy. Try this: a bowl of thick yogurt, sliced kiwi cubes of pineapple, a sprinkle of walnuts or pumpkin seeds. Savor each spoonful as an investment in your future self. Remember, consistency, not intensity, is the real secret. A single morning will not change your life, but a habit built over weeks and months just might. Papaya and guava, ancient healing, modern hope. Walk through a bustling market in Bangkok or Manila at sunrise, and you'll see tables piled high with papayas orange and gold, fragrant in the warm air. In every home, papaya is more than breakfast. It's a first aid kit for joints and tired muscles. Papaya. Sunshine in a fruit. Papaya's magic comes from papain, an enzyme that breaks down tough proteins into easy house building blocks. And from its abundance of vitamin C, this combination gives your body the very materials it needs to knit new collagen. Smooth, rough cartilage, and calm inflamed tissues. Take the story of Auntie Lam, a retired street vendor. Years of squatting by her soup cart left her knees stiff and swollen. After her neighbor suggested eating ripe papaya each morning sometimes plain, sometimes tossed with lime and chili, Lam felt the difference within weeks. My legs don't protest when I stand now, she laughs, serving noodles to waiting customers. The science is equally compelling. Clinical studies show that daily papaya, especially when paired with a vitamin-rich diet, improves joint flexibility and reduces swelling. The key is ripeness. Fruit should yield softly to your touch. Its flesh, a deep, bright, inviting orange. Add papaya to salads, blend it with mango and banana, or scoop it onto your plate with a squeeze of lime. Even the seeds have a peppery bite that can be sprinkled on salads for extra antioxidants. Guava. The forgotten superfruit. Next, imagine a dusty path in Latin America, lined with guava trees, heavy with fruit. Guava is easy to overlook. Cheds. Flavor subtle, its skin sometimes rough. But inside, it holds more vitamin C than almost any other fruit, over 200 milligrams in just one serving. That's 4 times your daily need. I once visited a village in Colombia where elders ate guava like apples. One woman, Senora Rosa, told me her secret. I eat 1 guava each morning, skin and all, and I walk every evening. My joints are like the tree, strong, flexible, full of life. Rosa still climbed hills with her grandchildren, proof that age does not have to mean decline. Science agrees. Guava's vitamin C, lycopene, and polyphenols work together to shield your existing collagen from breakdown, especially in times of stress or inflammation. A study in Brazil showed that daily guava improved both skin elasticity and joint comfort in people over 60. Try it yourself. Slice guava thin, eat with yogurt or in a smoothie, or simply munch it like an apple. If you find the skin tough, choose ripe fruit. It should be fragrant, slightly soft, and easy to bite. Pairing papaya and guava in your diet creates a symphony of support for your joints, a tradition from the past, confirmed by the science of today. The berry powerhouse. Blackberry and blueberry as joint guardians. Close your eyes for a moment and imagine a world where healing doesn't come from a bottle, a prescription, or a hospital visit, but from something as simple, as beautiful, as a bowl of berries shared around the kitchen table. Imagine a late summer afternoon in the hills of Oregon. The sun is dipping low, golden light spilling over fields and forests. There, among wild blackberry brambles, a group of friend children and grandparents alakir, laughing, their hands stained deep purple. Each plump berry they pop into their mouths is a celebration, a moment of joy, but also, as modern science now shows us, a quiet act of renewal for their bodies. This is the world I want you to step into. Because the humble blackberry and the little blueberry are among nature's most remarkable gifts for our joints, our legs, and, truly, our whole well-being. You may have thought of berries as summer snacks or pie filling, but today I invite you to see them with new ices, powerful allies on the journey to move through life with ease, flexibility, and delight, no matter your age. Let's begin with a story from my own childhood. My grandmother, who lived in a small town in the north, always kept a garden behind her house. In the far corner, untamed and wild, grew a tangle of blackberry bushes. Each August, when the air grew thick and the sun stayed long in the sky, my cousins and I would race out in the mornings, wicker baskets in hand. We'd come back scratched and sticky, with buckets full of berries and laughter echoing through the kitchen. My grandmother would take a handful, crush them into her morning bowl of oats, and say, "These are my secret. They keep my knees young." I thought she was joking, just being a playful old lady. But as I've grown, as I've watched others grow older, I realized she was passing on a wisdom deeper than any textbook. Blackberries and blueberries are not just treats, they are medicine grown in sunlight, shaped by rain, made sweet by the patient work of bees. Let's look at what makes them so special for your joints and why, in cultures around the world, these fruits are revered by both healers and grandmothers alike. First, it's all about the pigments. The deep blue and purple hues of these berries are the work of a class of compounds called anthocyanins. It's a fancy word, but their power is simple. They protect the body's precious collagen. Collagen, as you now know, is like the scaffolding inside our body acid, keeps joints cushioned, ligaments flexible, and skin supple. Every step you take, every time you kneel or climb a stair, collagen is working behind the scenes. But age, injury, and inflammation try to break it down. This is where anthocyanins come in, acting like tiny guardians, intercepting the enzymes and molecules that want to unravel those collagen fibers. Let's pause and meet Mr. George, a retired school bus driver from Devon, England. For years, he endured knees that creaked and ached so badly he could barely get down the steps of his own home. His daughter, worried for his independence, started bringing him fresh blackberries from the market every week. At first, George grumbled he missed his morning toast and jam. But with gentle persistence, his daughter swapped in berry bowls, added them to yogurt, blended them into smoothies. After a month, something remarkable happened. George found himself taking longer walks, lingering outside in the garden. The stairs no longer seemed so daunting. And perhaps most importantly, his mood brightened. Ned felt like himself again. The only thing that had changed was the daily addition of berries to his breakfast. When I spoke with George, he told me it wasn't magic, but every morning I'd think, today I'm doing something good for me. And slowly, my body listened. George's story echoes research from around the world. In Scandinavia, where wild berries are a dietary staple, elders routinely score higher on tests of mobility, balance, and joint health. In Japan, where blueberries are given to elders recovering from surgery, hospital stays are shorter and walking resumes sooner. It's no wonder scientists have begun calling these berries nature's joint protectors. What's truly fascinating is how quickly these effects can appear. In one study, older adults who ate a generous serving of mixed berries each day reported a noticeable reduction in swelling and morning stiffness within just 2 weeks. Blood tests revealed that their levels of creatine protein, a marker of inflammation, dropped by up to 25%. Their joints moved more easily, pain faded into the background, and many felt energized more themselves than they had in years. Imagine that. A simple change, a delicious one, rippling through the body and making daily life lighter. Now, let's talk about another quiet benefit: improved circulation. Blueberries, in particular, are known to strengthen capillaries and improve blood flow. Why does this matter for your joints and legs? Because healing requires nutrients, and nutrients travel in the blood. When circulation is sluggish, swelling increases and recovery slows. When your blood is vibrant and free-flowing, every part of you receives what it needs to rebuild, repair, and thrive. This is why people who eat blueberries and blackberries regularly often describe not just less pain, but more energy, clearer thinking, and better sleep. There's also a psychological effect. The act of preparing and enjoying berries whether by yourself or with family, signals care and self-respect. It transforms a meal into a moment of healing. In Sweden, elders gather every summer for berry days, taking grandchildren into the woods, telling stories as they fill baskets. These aren't just outings or rituals that tie together generations, teaching children that health is a practice, a joy, not a burden. And it's not just about eating berries raw. Let's explore a few ways people around the world work berries into their lives. In Greece, berries are mixed with thick yogurt and a drizzle of honey for a morning treat. In Canada, they're baked into simple whole grain muffins or simmered into compotes for porridge. In Vietnam, blueberries are sometimes blended with coconut milk and chia seeds for a refreshing snack. If you prefer savory, try tossing blackberries into salads with walnuts and feta, or roasting them with balsamic vinegar and herbs to serve alongside chicken or fish. The possibilities are as endless as your imagination. For those concerned about access or cost, remember, frozen berries retain nearly all their nutrients and are often less expensive, available year-round. You can buy them in bulk, use a handful each day, and savor summer's gifts even in the depth of winter. Dried berries, too, can be added to trail mixes or breakfast bowls. Just be mindful to choose versions without added sugar. Let's also address a myth. Some believe berries are too high in sugar. For those watching their weight or managing diabetes, in reality, berries are among the lowest sugar fruits, high in fiber and rich in water. They support balanced blood sugar, help you feel full, and can even improve insulin sensitivity. For elders struggling with cravings, swapping a candy bar for a bowl of berries is a gentle and effective way to satisfy the sweet tooth while nourishing the whole body. Beyond the kitchen, berries have become a symbol in many cultures for resilience and community. In South Africa, elder women teach children to identify wild berries, passing down both knowledge and a sense of belonging. In Brazil, a village celebrates the berry festival each July, honoring the fruit that brings health and unity to all who gather. These traditions remind us, when we eat together, heal together, we strengthen not just our bodies, but the invisible threads that connect us. And what of those who struggle to start a new habit? I've met many elders who feel overwhelmed by change. My advice is always this: begin with what's easy. Add a handful of berries to your breakfast and think more. Let the ritual grow at its own pace. Celebrate every small success. If you're a parent or grandparent, invite children to join you. Let them choose the berries at the market. Rinse them, sprinkle them on their favorite foods. Health is a journey, not a race. As we draw this segment to a close, I want to leave you with the image of a family gathered at the table, passing around a bowl of blackberries and blueberries, laughter dancing through the air. Each berry, a tiny promise of flexibility, of lightness, of shared joy. No matter where you are, no matter your age, these gifts are within reach. The next time you see a basket of berries, remember they're more than food. They are nature's guardians, a daily act of hope, and perhaps the simplest, sweetest step you can take toward moving through life with freedom and ease. Strawberry and Amla, the unsung heroes of restoration. If we've learned anything on this journey through the fruit kingdom, it's that some of the most powerful agents of healing don't announce themselves with grandeur. They wait patiently, unison, almost humble till we are wise enough to notice their quiet strength. Now, let us turn our gaze to two such fruits, champions for your joints and the very architecture of your mobility. The beloved strawberry and the ancient, often overlooked amla, or Indian gooseberry. Let's begin with strawberries, those beautiful gems that awaken memories of summer, laughter in gardens, and hands stained red from childhood picking. 4. Many strawberries are symbols of sweetness and delight, a treat, a dessert, a splash of color on the breakfast table. But if we look a little deeper, we find that strawberries are more than just a seasonal pleasure. They are potent allies for Anyone wishing to keep their legs light, their knees pain-free, and their joints moving like well-oiled hinges. Why are strawberries so special? Much of their magic comes from a rich store of vitamin K. Single cup gives you more than you need for the whole day. As we've discussed, vitamin C is the body's master builder for collagen, that essential protein that keeps cartilage, tendons, and ligaments strong and flexible. But strawberries go beyond this. They are also packed with ellagic acid, a compound shown in research to actively block the very enzymes that try to break down our precious collagen, especially when we are stressed, inflamed, or aging. Let's pause for a story. Imagine a quiet village in the French countryside. Here, Madame Delphine, age 79, still tends her rose garden each morning. Her secret? For decades, she's begun her day with a bowl of strawberries and a dollop of homemade yogurt. Last spring, after a particularly hard winter, she noticed her joints were stiffer than usual, her hands less willing to prune the roses she loves. Her granddaughter, a young scientist, brought her an article on strawberries and joint health. Delphine smiled and pointed to her breakfast. "My mother taught me this long ago yet, what the earth gives in season, and your body will thank you." By summer, Delphine was back to her garden, pain lessening, spirit brightening, grateful for the wisdom passed down through generations. But the power of strawberries is not limited to tradition. Modern science supports these old truths. A large study in the United States followed hundreds of women with chronic knee pain. Those who ate strawberries daily for 3 months experienced a remarkable drop in swelling, reported less pain, and even enjoyed more radiant skin, happy side effect. What's more, their blood markers for inflammation dropped, proof that the healing was not just imagined, but written in their very cells. It's not just what's inside the fruit that matters, but how we enjoy it. Strawberries are best eaten fresh, with their green tops left on. Those leafy crowns contain healing compounds, often lost when we toss them aside. Try blending whole strawberries into smoothies, or slice them atop a salad for a burst of flavor. If you want something special, mash strawberries with chia seeds and a touch of honey for a na-kook, vitamin-packed jam. Each serving is not just food, but a note of gratitude to your own body. Now, let's travel halfway across the world to the bustling markets of India, where a small green fruit holds legendary status. Amla, or Indian gooseberry. You might not recognize it if you passed by a little, round, sour fruit, often sold by women with bright scarves and knowing eyes. But within this fruit is a history that stretches back thousands of years. Revered in Ayurvedic medicine as a nurse for the body and a symbol of long life and resilience, Amla is a marvel of nature, packing more vitamin C into its tart flesh than almost any fruit on earth, up to 20 times more than an orange. But amla is not just about numbers. Its vitamin C is naturally bound to powerful plant compounds called polyphenols, which means it is absorbed slowly, used thoroughly, and lingers in the body, quietly helping to repair, protect, and renew. Picture this. In a small home in Kerala, a grandmother named Geeta sits by the morning window, slicing amla into thin pieces, sprinkling them with salt, and offering them to her grandchildren. The children wrinkle their noses at the sourness, but Geeta tells stories of her own childhood, how amla kept her strong through monsoon seasons, how it helped her father walk to the fields even in old age. These daily rituals passed through generations are more than nostalgia. In modern clinics, patients with knee pain and joint swelling are given amla powder mixed with honey and warm water. Within weeks, many report not just less pain, but more strength, greater balance, and a renewed sense of hope. Why does amla work so well? Besides its unparalleled vitamin C content, it is also rich in quercetin and gallic acetoaplante chemicals shown to reduce oxidative stress, calm inflammation, and directly block the enzymes that try to unravel our collagen. Even more, amla seems to encourage the body to produce more fibroblast very cells that weave collagen strands together. Like expert craftspeople repairing a precious tapestry. Consider the case of Mr. Patel, 67-year-old tailor from Mumbai. Years hunched over a sewing machine left his back aching and his knees swollen. After his doctor recommended amla, he began each morning with amla tea. He sliced the fruit, added a pinch of turmeric and honey, and sipped the brew as the city woke around him. In just 2 months, Patel noticed he could climb stairs with less effort. He returned to evening walks with his wife, a simple pleasure he thought lost forever. Amla gave me back my freedom, he told me, eyes shining. What's truly remarkable is how quickly these changes can happen. In studies published across Asia, elders who took amla daily reported up to a 40% reduction in joint swelling and a significant boost in collagen density in just 3 months. Imagine 3 months of a daily ritual for a potential lifetime of easier movement. For those curious to try amla, here are some gentle ways to start. If you find the fruit too sour, try dried amla or amla powder mixed into smoothies or warm tea with lemon and honey. In Indian kitchens, amla is often preserved with salt or spices, making it both delicious and more palatable. You can even blend amla into fresh fruit chutneys or add it to morning oatmeal for a subtle tempts. The beauty of both strawberries and amla is their versatility. No matter your taste, age, or schedule, these fruits can find a home in your routine. And when paired, they create a synergy sweet and the tart, the familiar and the exotic, each supporting the other's healing gifts. Before we move on, I want to share one more storithis, one from my own experience. My uncle, a stubborn man in his 70s, dismissed all talk of superfoods as a fad. His hands were so stiff from arthritis that he could barely tie his shoes. After months of coaxing, he finally agreed to try a simple routine: strawberries with breakfast, amla tea. In the afternoon, at first, he complained about the taste, but week by week, his grumbling faded, replaced by surprise, then delight. One morning, he sent me a photo show Ellis's tied, hands steady, a smile on his face. "I'm a believer," he wrote. It's moments like these that remind us healing is rarely about a single breakthrough, but about showing up for ourselves each day, trusting in the slow, quiet power of nature and tradition. Strawberries and amla are more than food, they are an invitation to reclaim what age, injury, or hardship may have taken. They whisper, you can move again. You can laugh, garden, dance, live. So, as you plan your next meal, as you share breakfast with loved ones, or as you seek relief from aching knees or swollen hands, remember these two heroes. Reach for strawberries when you crave comfort and sweetness. Welcome amla when you seek resilience and renewal. Let them remind you that, even in the smallest rituals, there is the promise of transformation. And perhaps, when you find yourself savoring that first bite, you'll remember Delphine in her garden, Gita by her window, Patel climbing stairs, or even my uncle tying his shoes. Their stories, and now, yours, are woven together by these humble fruits, each one a thread of hope in the tapestry of your well-being. If the story of healing were simply about what we eat, life would be so much simpler, wouldn't it? Imagine a bowl of berries in the morning, a few slices of amla or papaya in the afternoon, and like magical, the aches, swelling, and stiffness of the years would melt away. But healing is never so one-dimensional. Our bodies are not machines, and our hearts are not calculators. Real lasting change is built from many small stones, not just food, but movement, rest, belief, and the warmth of human connection. Let me take you to a tiny village in the mountains of Japan. Each morning, as the mist still hugs the rice paddies, a group of elders gathers in the community square. Some are spry, some lean heavily on walking sticks, some arrive with the careful assistance of a neighbor's arm. But all are there for Radio Tezo, a gentle exercise routine broadcast daily over loudspeakers. A ritual that spanned generations since the 1920s. Arms sweep skyward. Torsos twist side to side. Laughter bubbles up at the more challenging stretches. And when the music ends, there's a sense of quiet pride. Another day begun not in isolation, but in movement. Together, movement in every culture that boasts long-lived. Agile eldersweather. It's Okinawa in Japan, Sardinia in Italy. Or the highlands of Purumavant is as much a habit as breathing. Not Olympic feats or punishing workouts, but joyful, regular, everyday motion. A walk to the market. A sweep of the yard, tending to plants, or dancing with grandchildren in the kitchen. Why does this matter so much for our joints and our well-being? Imagine your joints as the hinges on a beloved old door. If that door is never opened, the hinges rust, stiffen, resist. But if the door is swung open and closed every day, even if only a little, the hinges remain smooth, welcoming, ready for the next visitor. Movement is how we oil our hinges. When we move, blood flows freely to the farthest corners delivering nutrients, clearing away waste, inviting the body's builders to repair, restore, and rebuild. It's no coincidence that after even a few minutes of gentle stretching, the ache in your knees or hips softens, your steps grow lighter, your spirits lift. But what about those days when movement feels impossible? One pain, fatigue, or sadness weigh us down. That's when the second pillar of healing becomes essential. Mindset. You see, healing is not just a matter of muscles and bones, but of hope and belief. Modern science shows what ancient wisdom has always known. Stress and loneliness are as corrosive to the body as a poor diet or lack of exercise. When we feel isolated, discouraged, or overwhelmed, our bodies produce more cortisol, a hormone that, in high amounts, wears down our collagen, stiffens our joints, and amplifies pain. I think of Mrs. Margaret, a retired librarian in Hugh. After her husband passed away, she drifted through her days, rarely leaving the house. Her knees grew stiff, her hands ached, and the simple act of making tea became a chore. One afternoon, her daughter, noticing her sadness, invited her to join a neighborhood gardening group. At first, Mrs. Margaret resisted, embarrassed by her swollen hands and slow steps. But among the gentle laughter and the shared tasks of planting, she found new purpose. Each meeting ended with a shared meal, a fruit salad, a thermos of green tea, a story told and retold. Little by little, her pain eased, not just in her joints, but in her heart. It's not just anecdote. Clinical research backs this up. Older adults who participate in group activities, who have even a single friend or confidant, recover more quickly from illness and injury. Their inflammation markers drop, their sleep improves. Their days are filled not with dread, but with gentle anticipation. The recipe is simple. Connection is medicine. Of course, the mind can be a tricky thing. Sometimes the voice in our head whispers, "It's too late for me. I'm too old, too broken, too tired to change." But I have seen, time and again, the transformation that follows a single act of belief. Consider Mr. John, an engineer from Manchester, who spent years convinced his arthritis would one day put him in a wheelchair. His wife coaxed him to try water aerobics at the local pool. He scoffed until 3 weeks in, he realized he could climb the stairs without pausing for breath. That small victory unlocked a wave of confidence. Soon he was joining his grandkids on walks, helping neighbors fix fences, even signing up for a dance class. I thought the best years were behind me, he told me, but it turns out they were just waiting for me to say yes. Let's pause here for a moment of honesty. Healing is not a straight path. There will be days when your knees throb, when movement is hard, when hope feels far away. Those are the days when we need to lean on the third pillar, rest and self-compassion. The body, like the earth, has seasons, times for planting and times for harvest. Times for effort and times for gentle retreat. Sleep, in particular, is when much of the magic happens. During deep rest, our bodies release growth hormone, rebuild collagen, repair tiny injuries, sweep away inflammation. You struggle with sleep? Try simple rituals. A warm bath, a cup of herbal tea, a short meditation, reading a favorite poem, or listening to soft music. Treat rest not as an afterthought, but a sacred Tima gift you give yourself. In families, these lessons are often learned together. I remember a family in Chicago. 3 generations living under one roof. The grandmother, once the heart of the home, had grown silent. Her world shrunk by aching joints and fatigue. Her son and daughter-in-law decided to make a change, not just for her, but for everyone. Each morning, before work and school, they'd gather for a 10-minute moment stretching. Deep breathing, sometimes just shaking out their hands to lively music. Breakfast became a celebration, a rainbow of fruits, whole grains, and laughter. Over the months, the change was palpable. The grandmother regained her spark. The children skipped to school with energy. Even the parents found new patience for the day ahead. I love how cultures around the world have woven movement, mindset, and community into the fabric of daily life. In southern Italy, elders walk arm in arm to the piazza every afternoon, sharing stories and sun. In rural Africa, village soccer games include everyone, young and old, with more laughter than competition. In the highlands of Peru, families dance. In the fields after planting, their movements both celebration and exercise. These rituals are not luxuries. They are the foundation for a life well eaten, a body well cared for. And what of those who feel alone in their journey? Technology, when used wisely, can be a bridge. Virtual exercise classes, online book clubs, video calls with distant families can all nourish our need for connection and encouragement. I recall a widower in Australia who joined an online Tai Chi group during the pandemic. He told me every morning, seeing those faces on my screen, I felt less alone. We laughed at our clumsy moves, cheered each other on, and the pain in my legs was somehow less important. No matter where you are, or countryside, surrounded by loved ones or living solo, principles remain the same. Start small. Move a little every day, even if it's just circling your arms in bed or flexing your ankles while you sit. Notice what lifts your mood. Is it music, sunshine, a phone call, a favorite memory? Build these moments into your routine, just as you would brush your teeth or wash your face. And above all, be gentle with yourself. Progress is measured not in miles or kilograms, but in the quiet return of joy and possibility. As we reach the end of this segment, I invite you to reflect on your own life. What movement brings you pleasure? Who brings you comfort or laughter? What small act of self-care could you begin today to honor your body's wisdom? Healing, after all, is not a destination, but a journey, one shaped by countless small choices, repeated with love and intention. So next time you savor a bowl of berries or sip warm amla tea, remember, food is just the beginning. Let it be a spark. Step outside and let the sun kiss your face. Stretch, even if only for a moment. Call a friend, join a group, or simply smile at yourself in the mirror. These are not trivial gestures, they are the daily rituals that, over time, rebuild not just joints and muscles, but hope, confidence, and belonging. Together, with every step and every breath, we can reclaim a life of movement, resilience, and joy. The world is waiting for you. Open the door and walk into it, one loving, intentional step at a time. If you've come with me through this journey through the wisdom of blackberries, the healing sweetness of strawberries, the ancient power of amla, and the quiet strength of movement and community perfabs, You are now asking, how do I truly begin? How do I bring all this knowledge into my own life every day so that it becomes not just a lesson learned, but a new way of living? This, my friend, is the most important question of all, because transformation doesn't happen in the pages of a book or at the end of a video. It happens in the small moments. The food you choose at the market, the way you start your mornings, the courage to try, stumble, and try again. Let's start by reimagining the first hour of your dinat as a rushed sequence of chores, but as the gentle planting of seeds for your own healing. Picture this: the sun just rising, your home quiet, a new day's promise floating in the air. Before you reach for your phone or get swept up in the demands of others, you give yourself 10 sacred minutes. Maybe it begins with a glass of warm water with a squeeze of lemon, waking up your insides with a signal that something good is coming. You prepare a simple, colorful bowl colon, perhaps kiwi and pineapple slices, or a mix of blackberries and strawberries, or, if you're feeling adventurous, a spoonful of amla powder stirred into yogurt or warm tea. As you eat, you pause and savor each bite. Is not just food, but a message to your body. I care for you. I am here for you. Let's heal together. But knowledge alone isn't enough. Change thrives on action, but also on preparation. The families and individuals I've seen succeed in transforming their health never leave their habits to chance. They plan. They make a list before going to the market: berries, guava, papaya, a bag of frozen blueberries for busy weeks, maybe a jar of dried amla. They keep fruit washed and ready, so when hunger strikes or moods dip, the right choice is easy. Some set a weekly fruit breakfast day, making it a celebration every at the table. Colorful plates, laughter filling the kitchen. These are not chores, but rituals of joy. For those facing tight budgets, there are always creative paths. In Hanoi's Old Quarter, I met a group of elders who pooled their money to buy bulk fruit from the countryside, dividing the bounty so everyone, no matter how modest their pension, had something fresh to eat each week. In London, a young mother started a fruit share with her neighbors, buying boxes of seconds or imperfect fruit at the end of the market day, sharing both cost and abundance. One of her neighbors, Mrs. Green, told me, "It's not just the fruit that nourishes you, it's the feeling that we're in this together." Let's address another barrier: taste. Not everyone loves the sharp tang of amla, or the seediness of blackberries, or the texture of guava. That's okay. There's no single recipe for healing. Try blending tart fruits with bananas or mango for sweetness. Bake berries into oatmeal, sprinkle guava over salads, or add amla to smoothies with honey and ginger. If you have little ones at home, invite them to make their own fruit art, arranging slices and berries into silly faces or rainbows. When food is playful, even the pickiest eater will want a bite. Now, let's build a roadmap, a gentle plan that you can shape to your life, not the other way around. Week 1. Planting the seeds. Start with breakfast. Each morning, commit to adding 1 collagen-boosting fruit, kiwi, pineapple, or a handful of mixed berries. Move your body just a little. After eating, a slow walk to the mailbox, 10 minutes of stretching, or even a song and dance in the living room. Week 2. Growing the habit. Add a new fruit at lunchtime, or as a snack, perhaps papaya or guava, cut up and ready to eat. Invite a friend or loved one to join you for a walk or to share a fruit salad. Notice how your joints feel in the afternoon, how your mood shifts, how your body responds to kindness. Week 3. Expanding the circle. Try something new, maybe amla powder in your tea, or a berry parfait for dessert instead of sweets. You miss a day, forgive yourself, and return the next. Habits are not built on perfection, but on persistence. Celebrate the victories, no matter how small. An easier time rising from bed, a lighter step up the stairs, a laugh shared with a neighbor. Week 4. Sharing the harvest. Share your journey. Call a friend and tell them what you've learned. Organize a weekend picnic, a virtual fruit tasting, or a family walk. Write down a few words of gratitude each evening for the progress you've made. Let your story ripple outward, inspiring others as you have been inspired. And what if setbacks come, as they always do? Maybe illness, travel, stress, or a busy week throws you off course. Remember, healing is not a test to pass or fail. It is a lifelong dance, sometimes slow, sometimes quick, sometimes 2 steps forward and 1 step back. On tough days, return to the smallest step. A glass of water, a stretch, a kind word to yourself. Healing waits patiently for your return. Throughout this process, support is everything. Some find encouragement in family, others in friends, faith groups, or online communities. If you feel alone, consider joining a class of yoga, swimming, tai chi, even a walking group at your local park. Sometimes, the quiet camaraderie of moving together is the most powerful medicine of all. In one small city in Canada, I met a group of seniors who started as strangers in a water aerobics class. Within months, they became friends who called each other on rainy days, reminding one another, "Let's keep going." When one member, June, had knee surgery, the group brought her fruit baskets, cards, and daily phone calls until she was back in the pool. "I never thought I'd feel this seen, this loved," she said. "It's as if healing happened twice, first in my knee, then in my heart." Children can be your greatest partners. In many families, the youngest lead the way, inventing new recipes, reminding their elders to go for walks, offering giggles and hugs. I met a grandfather, Mr. Kwong, whose 6-year-old granddaughter Mia set a rule: no screen time until we dance together. Every afternoon, they'd turn on her favorite song, spinning and laughing, the living room alive with music. Within months, Kwong's blood pressure improved, his steps grew lighter, and their bond deepened, healing far richer than any medicine. There will be skeptics, even inside your own mind. Voices that whisper, "It's too late for me. Too old, I've tried before and failed." Remember this: every transformation begins with a single, hopeful act. You are not the sum of your mistakes or missed opportunities. You are the promise of this moment and every moment after to choose care, connection, and courage. Let your kitchen become your sanctuary. Stock it not just with fruit, but with reminders of your worth, photos of loved ones, notes of encouragement, a list of dreams you still want to chase. Celebrate each meal as a victory. When you savor a slice of pineapple or the sweetness of a strawberry, imagine the generations before you who survived, adapted, and thrived, passing down these gifts of healing. Imagine the generations yet to come, learning from your example, inspired by your resilience. And finally, never forget that you are not alone. All over the world, in cities and villages, in small homes and crowded apartments, people like you are reaching for health, for freedom from pain, for the joy of movement. Your journey is part of a much larger story, a tapestry woven of countless lives, each one striving, stumbling, rising again. So as you step forward from this moment, bring with you all the wisdom, the stories, the practical tools you have gathered. Let them root deeply in your daily life. Walk out into the world with your head high, knowing that every berry, every stretch, every smile, and every act of self-kindness is a declaration: I am healing, I am worthy. I am day by day reclaiming the vibrant, joyful life that is my birthright. And if you ever need a reminder, come back to these words. Let them be a hand on your shoulder, a nudge in your heart, a spark to light your way. The journey is long, but you are ready. Begin and let each step be a celebration. Now, as we reach the close of our journey together, I invite you to pause, to breathe, to look back on the ground you have covered. This is more than the end of a video. It is, perhaps, the beginning of a new story, a story in which you are the author, and every chapter is an opportunity for renewal. Let's remember where we began, in the quiet early morning, with uncertainty in our steps and questions in our hearts. Together, we explored the remarkable world of collagen's foundation, of strength, flexibility, and ease in our bodies. We traveled across continents and cultures, meeting grandmothers in their gardens, elders in village squares, friends gathered over bowls of fruit and laughter. We listened to their stories and their wisdom, stories written not in textbooks, but in the lives they lead every single day. Along the way, we discovered the hidden heroes of the fruit world, the zesty kiwi, the golden pineapple, the lush papaya, the resilient guava, the wild blackberry and blueberry, the sweet strawberry, and the ancient amla. Each one offering more than just vitamins or calorie soaring the possibility of healing, of restored movement, of days lived with a little more ease, a little more joy. We saw too that food is only the beginning, that movement, mindset, rest, and community are the threads that weave us back together, body and soul. But perhaps the greatest lesson is this: healing is not reserved for the lucky or the young. It is not something that happens to us, but something we create by choice, day by day, even in the face of setbacks or doubt. It is in the way we greet ourselves each morning, the patience we show on hard days, the courage to try again, even after disappointment. Maybe you still carry skepticism or worry that it's too late. Maybe you're unsure where to start, or you fear that the small changes won't add up. That is natural, and it means you are human. But every story shared her reverie moment of transformation bent with the same uncertainty. No one walks this path perfectly. Progress is not measured in leaps, but in the gentle forward motion of persistence. So, here's my invitation to you. Begin with the next meal, the next walk, the next kind word you offer yourself. Begin with a single fruit, a single stretch, a single act of self-care. Then build from there. Allow each small victoriac morning you wake with a little less pain. Each moment you move with a little more ease of toe become the foundation for the next dot. And please do not walk this road alone. Reach out to a friend, a family member, a neighbor, or a community group. Share what you have learned, what you hope for, what you are trying. Healing is magnified when shared. Joy grows deeper when celebrated together, and even struggles become lighter when carried side by side. Perhaps, as you reflect on these stories, a face or a name comes to mind who could use a little hope, a little encouragement, a little reminder that transformation is possible. Send them this video, or better yet, send them a message. Let's do this together. Organize a fruit-tasting breakfast, a gentle walk in the park, or simply a conversation about dreams and goals. You never know whose life you might change us starting with your own. Let's not forget to look for beauty and gratitude, even in the smallest things. The sweet burst of a blackberry, the first deep breath of the day, the sound of laughter shared across a table, the gentle egg that says, I am alive, I am moving, I am healing. These are not just moments. They are medicine. And as you move forward, know that you are part of a larger Storia movement of people across the world reclaiming health, hope, and connection in ways both ancient and new. Each step you take is echoed by countless others. Elders walking in the dawn, children skipping beside them, friends joining hands to celebrate not just survival, but the fullness of life. So, what comes next? That is up to you. The roadmap is in your hands, and every day is a new opportunity to begin again. Choose one thing today. One fruit, one walk, one smile, and let it grow. With time, patience, and a little courage, you will be amazed at how far you can go. If this journey has inspired you, if it has lit even a small flame of hope, I invite you to act. Share your story. Encourage a friend. Leave a comment with your experience, your questions, your dreams. Join this community of healing Bicos. Together, we are stronger, braver, and more resilient than we ever are alone. Thank you for walking this path with me. Thank you for the trust, the curiosity, the willingness to believe in something gentle and good. May your days be filled with vibrant health, movement, and joy. May you greet each morning with a spirit of possibility, and may your journey toward healing inspire those around you. Until we meet again, keep moving forward. Keep choosing hope. Your best days are not behind you, are waiting just ahead.